Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Michelle and I'm so excited to be playing with Marlene's 2025 October release. So the first thing that I thought I would give a go is the stencil paste or texture paste. These are neons. They are just beautiful. And I decided to use the little moon crescent tag, or it's a tag but it's called moon shape or something. I can't remember, I'm sorry. I wanted to use the stencil paste a little bit differently than we normally would. Normally we would stick it through a stencil and have that texture standing up on the page, but today I wanted to try something else. So I'm just opening all of them, and while I'm doing that, I'm just using the little foil cover that's over the top of the paste, and I'm just using what's left on there. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking a little bit of white gesso and a little bit of the paste, and I'm blending them together to make this pastel. So I love mixing neons with white because it gives you a pastel color, but it's a very bright pastel. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm putting it down with my brush, and then I'm also blending it out with my fingers, and then I'm going to give that layer a good dry. So for the first layer I used the yellow, the green and the blue, and you can see it just gives a beautiful creamy kind of color, making sure I'm drying that off really well. And then I didn't want to use the new stamps yet because that will have its own video this week. So I'm going back to my favorite stamp, and I'm trying to stamp with that stencil paste. So I'm taking some of the paste on my finger, dabbing it onto my stamp. You guys know, if you've been around for a while, this is my favorite stamp. These florals are just so pretty. I've used them hundreds of times. I've probably made 11 million flowers by now with them, but I do love it. So all I'm doing is I'm dabbing with my finger onto that stamp, and then I'm stamping it off. So I'm using the paste as an ink, I guess. And it worked really, really well. I was quite impressed with how it worked. I wasn't sure if it would, but there we go, it did. Okay, so now I've stamped that same flower onto just some cardstock, just ordinary cardstock, and I'm going to now color the petals with the neon pastes or the stencil paste. So I'm using them as a paint instead of textural elements, and it worked really, really well. They blend beautifully together, they go on nicely. So definitely another option for you guys to use the paste in a different way. It's, you know, I think if we have a very specific product, sometimes it can get quite difficult to think of ways to use it. So oftentimes people would think, oh, I like the paste, but I don't know if I'm going to get that much use of it. But you can actually use your paste in a whole different variety. It's not just, you don't have to use it for just one thing. So I'm just going in and coloring in all of those flowers. And I do love the pop of brightness that these pastes give. I really like the purple. I think it looks similar to Marlene's punk paint, and you know I use that all the time. Really nice colors there. I'm also using it and blending colors together a little bit. So the pink and the purple I'm blending, and I'm blending the pink with the orange and the yellow as well. It looks really pretty that way. Giving it a dry, and then I'm going to fussy cut them. I did cut that bit of the video out, so you don't have to watch me fussy cutting them, even though it went quite quickly, but this is faster. So quickly fussy cut them, and then once I've got them all trimmed out, I am just going into the centers again and darkening up those black centers, because obviously with the paste over the top, it did dull it down quite a bit. It would dull down with any medium that you put over it, even if it's watercolors. I always go in and just add that black back in again. And then once I've dried that off, I will just go in and do some white dots in the center just to brighten them up and give them a little bit of life. And you can see immediately how that changes that flower completely. I'm also using my Studio Light alcohol marker. This is a black one, and I'm just going around all of the edges of these flowers just to help when I put them down to pop them off the page, but also it hides that white cut edge of the flower, because I never stick my flowers down flat, so you can always see that white edge, and I like to just disguise that somewhat. I always do this with my stamped images. It's such a simple, small step, but it really does make the world of difference. So I've put them down onto my little tag there, and then I decided that it needs leaves. You would have seen me drawing out some leaves before, but I didn't love them. So I'm just using one of these older stamps from Marlene, and I'm just using this little leafy bit and stamping it 3 times randomly. But when I now glue the flowers on, it makes sense. It looks quite nice, actually. Well, I think it looks nice. And then I'm gluing all of my flowers down just in the center so the petals can still lift. And then I looked for a little quote in the sticky quote book, and I think the one that I got was think, dream, dare, I don't know, something like that. Just really nice words together. I did cut it apart, and then because you can't really see the print on that, I just went in with my white gel pen and just brighten up those letters a bit, and that made me happier. I'm also going to go around the edge of my card with a grey alcohol marker just to define those edges. Those scallops are so beautiful, and I'd hate to lose those scallops in the process. So I did go in and define that. And I'm also just adding a little touch of shading with my black paint pen and some water, giving it a little dry. And once I'm done with the alcohol marker around the edges, I will add some ribbons to the hole there. And that's about it for this tag for today, this play. So if you don't have the paste, it's really worth getting. They're quite small tubs, so they won't dry out. You'll use them before they get dried. These tags are amazing. They're 450 GSM, so they're really, really thick and sturdy. I think we'll be able to throw pretty much anything at them, and they're going to hold up. Okay, I will be back again tomorrow with another video for you guys featuring the new release. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, like, and leave me a comment. And I'll chat to you again tomorrow. Bye!